our learning target is I can read and write ratios. First thing we need to do is look at and understand what a ratio is. So a ratio is a way to compare two numbers or two terms or even two things. Here's an example right here for you. Do you see in this image down here how there are three men and one woman, and we can tell that this woman is wearing a dress. You see this a lot of times on signs to go into a restroom. But the ratio, meaning our comparison of men to women, is 1 to 3. I said that backwards. Women to men. Now, one thing I want you to notice, and we'll get this because get this on another slide. But do you see how the term women comes first before men? So that means we need to list in our ratio women first and then men. So 1, 2, 3. Now you're going to see this on a couple of other slides, but if these were flipped around in here, if it said we're comparing the ratio of men to women, then we would write our men term first in our ratio, and then the number of women. So then it would be 3, 2, 1. Okay, now we're going to try this one together, but I don't want you to spend time putting this on your board. We are going to list the ratio of these turquoise circles to these pink triangles. Okay, first we need to quantify or count how many of these turquoise circles we have. That's going to be our first term because it comes first when we're comparing. So first term, second term. Okay, first, second. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to count how many there are. Okay, I see that this is kind of arranged like an array, and I think it's going to be easier for me to use multiplication with these 5 than 3. So I see we have 5, 5, 5, which is 15, 2, 4, 4, 4, 4, 4. So 5 rows of 4, which is 20. So the ratio of green, or I guess turquoise circles to triangles is 15 to 20. So for every 20 of these, we're going to have 15 of these. For every 15 of these, we're going to have 20 of these. Okay, moving on to the next slide. This you've heard me say a couple times, which is term. Okay, you might kind of hear this as a multiple meaning word. Term might be like how long you do something for. But with ratios, a term is the things that you are comparing or any one of the two numbers that make up the ratio. Okay, so for example, right here, this is listed as a ratio. We have these muffin types here. This is bran muffins, and this one is a blueberry muffin. So when we turn that into a ratio, we have our first term is the number of bran muffins. So that's why that's a 2, because there are 1, 2 of them. And then we're comparing that to, that looks like 12, I shouldn't do that, 2. We're comparing them to how many blueberry muffins we have. So that is our second term. So when you heard me talking on the last slide about our terms are going to be these aqua or turquoise circles and these pink triangles, and our first term is going to be this, and our second term is going to be that, we put that down here. This term represents those circles. This term represents the triangles. Okay, now I'd like you to, real quick, put this one on your board. So go ahead, pause the video, and I just want you to draw boxes, and you could even do this. You could even call this one G for grape and apple. Apple, 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 apple. I do not want you to take such a long time to draw those and draw apples on them or grapes on them. That might be a lot. Okay, so the first thing that we're going to do right here is this question, the ratio of the number of grape juice boxes to the number of apple juice boxes is blank to blank. Now, what I want you to pay extremely close attention to is this. Which term is going to come first? Okay, so let's reread this. The ratio of the number of, ooh, I see it right here. Do you see it? grape juice boxes. So that's going to be our first term, and then look to see what our second term is. So this is the thing listed second. To the number of apple juice boxes. So that's going to be our second term. Okay, let's go ahead and do this. So I'm just going to count grape juice boxes. How many do you see? Just one, and it means the set, not the individual boxes. And then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of the apple. Okay, now let's do the same thing down here. We're going to pay really close attention to what is going to be our first term in our ratio. The ratio to the number of, apple's going to come first this time. Apple is going to be our first term in our ratio, and we're comparing that to the number of grape. Grape is second. Okay, so let's go ahead and do our first term. Apple. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Grape is 1. See how those flip-flopped around as we change which term came first? Okay, we're going to do just a couple more altogether today. I know this one is a little bit tricky to see on the actual scale, so I will help you. Ronald bought 2 pounds of pears and 5 pounds of oranges. We can use that to help us, I guess. To compare the ratio, the items must be in the same unit. Okay, so for example, if we were comparing ounces here to pounds, that would be a problem. Or if we were comparing tons to pounds, we could make some conversions, but it would be an issue. So kind of like fractions, when we have unlike denominators, think about when you are comparing things in writing ratios, they should be in the same units. Okay, the ratio of the weight of pears to the weight of oranges is blank to blank. So I'm just going to go through this and read this again. Try and do this one with me. And again, we see that our pears, we have 2 pounds of pears and 5 pounds of oranges. Okay, so this little thing here is pointing to 5 and 2. Okay, the ratio of the weight of the pears, that's going to be our first term, and weight of the oranges that's going to be our second term. Okay, so first term is pears. How much do our pears weigh? 2 pounds. And our oranges weigh 5 pounds. So the ratio of the weight of the pears to the weight of the oranges is 2 pounds to 5 pounds. Okay, now we're going to do the same thing down here. We're going to look for our first term. First term down here is oranges. Second term down here is pears. So when I go to write these, I'm going to look for oranges first. Oranges is 5. Pears is 2. The ratio of the weight of the oranges to the weight of the pears is 5 pounds to 2 pounds.